Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Laurel and I love to create. I create all kinds of things, mostly in the mythical, magical realm. That is my favorite. And today I am so happy to share with you some new little gnomes I've created. This is our See No Evil, Hear No Evil, and Speak No Evil gnome. They are so cute. They are pretty simple to make. They are just sweet. I can't wait to show you guys. Let's get right into it and I'll show you guys how you can make your own little trio of gnomes. Alright, we're going to start with some socks. These are just some children's socks from Dollarama. I'm just going to put some pebbles in the bottom. Using a funnel, shake them to the bottom. Don't need too many. This is just for a little bit of weight. And we'll do that with all three of our socks. And then we're going to take some polyfil and we're going to fill up our socks right up until about the heel. And then just top that off with an elastic. A little bit of hot glue on top of that, just in case our elastic ever decides to give out on us. And then we're going to do the same thing with the next two. A little bit of hot glue on top. And now we're going to start with our hats. So we're just going to cut out a square big enough to go around our hat. I fold that in half and I cut out a triangle shape. Does not need to be exact. Once we have that shape though, we're going to cut out two more the same size as that one. That way all our gnomes have the same size hat. And then just cut those out. We're going to add a little bit of fur trim to the bottom. So I just have this fur trim here I just cut a strip of. And I'm just going to attach that right to the bottom of my hat. Good side to good side. And that way I can fold down the top of it and glue that to the back of the hat. Or the inside of the hat. All the way around. And we're going to do that with all three of them. And then we're just going to finish off the hat by gluing up the whole side of it right up to the point and then press it down firmly. And then we can turn it right side out and we have a cone shape. For the bottom of our guy, we're just going to glue the same material all the way around him, all the way along the bottom half. And when we get to this seam there, we'll just glue a strip so that it is finished off. You can cut off the excess then. At the bottom, we're going to again just cut off the excess. I have too much to work with here. And we're just going to put a little bit of glue then all along the edge. And then we can just tack that down, folding it all the way around. And you can see again on the next two. We'll just wrap it all the way around. Trimming. Glue your edges down and fold it down. For his coat, we're just going to take the same fur trim we used for our hat, and we're going to wrap a piece of that all the way around the top half of our guy. Just gluing that all the way around him. Add a little glue right to the very top so you can tack it down if you want. To finish it off, I'm just making a very long piece of trim because I know I'll need lots of it. So I'm using that same color we used for the hat, but this is a furrier piece, a little fluffier I guess. So I'm just going to glue down the edges on both sides of a long strip just to give us a nice trim piece. And then we're just going to add that to the bottom of his coat first of all. Gluing all the way around. For the arms, we're going to wrap that same material used for the coat. We're going to wrap these foam rollers I got from the Dollarama. Again, they are just from the gardening section there. They're fairly narrow. I like to use these for smaller gnomes. You can just fold it right in half and then you have one piece. That's it. And that way you know they're not coming off. It attaches really nicely. So we're just going to add some trim to the bottom of his sleeves here. Same trim as our bottom of our coat. So the end of each of our foam roller here, we'll put that on. And then a little piece of glue right at the top of our gnome. And we're going to put our arms right there in the center. Same thing, roll up your foam roller in your fabric. I didn't glue it right to the foam roller because this foam stuff does melt very easily with the hot glue. So I just glued the actual fabric. And then we'll just attach it again to the top of the gnome. You can add your hat on top of that. Adding our trim to the sleeves. And our hat. Did decide we need our hats to be a little fluffier though. But we're going to start with our noses, and I rolled out some polymer clay, just some balls of polymer clay, and I'm just going to now take a ball stylus tool and make some nostril holes. You can play around and see what sizes you like best for this. Whatever you decide you like is what you can do. And for the hands, again, I just have some balls, same color to match their coats. And I'm just going to make some oval kind of shapes. We're going to make some little mitten hands here. Just smoothing out our edges with our hands best we can. And I'm just going to make one little slice just at an angle on the top. This is for our thumbs. Just smoothing out the edges. If you want any little curves in your hand, this is the time to do that as well. Same thing on the other ones. We're also going to add a little detail. This is just with our tool. We're just going to make some little lines in it there, just to add some wrinkles and seams to it. And we're also going to take that same little tool and we're going to poke a hole right in the end. That's where we will add our foam roller at the end. So we're just going to bake all this up at 130 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes. And while that bakes, we're going to start on our beards. We're going to cut these in 4-inch squares. And then I'm going to make those squares into triangles. Just adding some hot glue to attach right to the front of your gnome. Make sure you put the fur under the arms. And then we can comb those the way we want them before we put our noses on. And our noses are all baked and cooled, so we're going to add a little E6000 right to the center. And then some hot glue around the edge. The E6000 was great glue. It holds polymer clay long term, where the hot glue doesn't tend to do that. But it does help it set faster, so you're not sitting there holding these noses on there forever for them to harden. So just again, E6000 in the center, hot glue around the edge. Then press firmly in the center. For the hat, I took some pipe cleaners and I just put one in the center of each one, folding it in half and twisting it just to give it a little stability, and then a little polyfil around that for some shape. Hot glue right along the bottom, all around the edge, and we're just going to put that right on top of our gnome. For the hands, we're going to expose those wires that's in the center, put some E6000 on there. And you can put a little hot glue right around the edge again just to help set it. Press it in firmly. We're going to do this on all 6 of our hands. And our hats, pipe cleaner in the center, polyfil around the edges, hot glue it right on top of our gnome, over the top of the arms and everything. Little E6000 to hold our hands in place. Had to tack down, that one came a little bit untacked there, so we'll just retack it, not a big deal. Hot glue it down in place. Sometimes the wire might be a little hard to find. Try your best, I guess. Okay, now we're just going to pose our arms where you want them to be. This guy is on his ears. This one is where his eyes would be. And this guy would be where his mouth would be. Shaping your beard before you attach your hands. And I'm just going to use a little hot glue to attach those. You don't have to do this. Those wires kind of keep them in place, but this will just keep it more permanently right where I want them to be. And then I decorate it with a little bit of flowers with the corresponding colors to our fur trim. I did use a little bit of paint to make sure the flowers were the same color. I then decided to make some boots. I didn't know ahead of time if I was going to put boots, but I decided I would. So I just used these little containers from Dollarama, and I'm gluing those to cardstock. And then I'm going to add these little pom-poms right to the front of those. And once we get all those attached, we will just start trimming around them. So that you end up with like a figure 8 shape basically at the end. And then I'm just going to attach it to, this isn't a bath mat that I'd got from Dollarama that I took the cover off of. So I'm just using that for the bottom of these booties now. It gives a nice little texture for the bottom. I like these booty bottoms. And then just trim it off on the excess again. And then we're just going to wrap those in fur. Trimming off our excess. Hot gluing down the front. All along that pom-pom. And then we're just going to hot glue the edge on the top and tuck it on the inside of the boot. Little dab in the front just to pinch those two edges together. And the same thing on the other boot. I usually like to start at the heel, that way your seam is at the back of your boot. Add a little bead to the front to finish it off. And now to attach our boots to our gnomes, we're just going to get the beard out of the way first of all. We're going to add a little bit of glue right to the top of our booty and attach it directly to our gnome. Same thing with the other one. And there we have it. Just gives him a little stability when he's sitting as well. And I think it makes them look a little more finished. I'm glad I decided to add the boots. I like the boots on them. And now I'm just going to add a little feather for decoration. You'll have to excuse my craft room. It is also tie-dye day right after this, so I was busy. And there we have them. They are so cute. I love these guys. I hope you do too. Well, there we have it. Our little trio is all done. They're all completed. You can display them all together or you could separate them. The choice is really up to you. Hope you guys like this tutorial and make sure to check back soon for more wonderful magical creations of all kinds. Thanks again for watching. Love to all. Have yourselves a great week, guys.